Hello, how are
Hello,
you?
Namaste.
Namaste. Hi, Jais. It's really a pleasure to
Thank you.
to meet you here and to share with you this little space. We'll be talking a little bit about our news. You're a really active person, so and I'll just update as well about what is going on with me. But I first would like to introduce Jess. So Jess Kaur, it's a new friend really in this path. She came into my journey as a very bright light to help me big time. And it's just interesting how the serendipity here involved, isn't it, on the place that you're living. I was trying to relocate in this lovely place in the Mediterranean coast called Altea in Spain. And then COVID happened and sent me back to Ireland. And then my own mini pandemic happened and things changed. But finally, through a friend who's also called Yolanda, who has a holistic center called Centro Luz, I knew about Jess. So if you would like to introduce yourself, maybe a little bit of what you do, Jess. What is your main mission? You have loads, but yeah.
Okay, hi, my name is Jess. Yes, I have many missions, but I'll talk about this mission in particular, which is very close to my heart, and I feel is very much part of my purpose. It's been with me from a very long time, but now it's manifested in a big way, where all the years of searching, seeking, training, and finding myself, connecting to myself, and really accepting my purpose. I've now in a place where I'm very much. I would call myself a holistic practitioner. So very much a holistic health practitioner, and it's not just working on just like the body or the mind or the soul. It's working on your complete well-being. So it's working on your complete mind, body, and soul, and it's really digging in through all the different layers of what's gone on in this lifetime, and really getting down to the inner child to see where that inner child has been traumatized. And in my study and research, especially here in Spain, where I am right now since the last 5 months, I've seen over 24 clients, and the more I'm seeing, the more I'm getting to understand how the inner child sits in parts of our body where then that trauma is just building, and then that's it. As we get older, it takes maybe 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, but you start seeing the outputs of that trauma coming up more and more and more and more.
In the form of illness or distress or something.
A lot of it's through I'm finding illnesses through that inner child. I've had many mental health clients. I've had many cancer patients, but it's not just cancer. It's anything to do with the immune disorder. So we have lupus that is growing at speed. We have intolerances. We have diabetes. So and then that's at a rise. Obesity. Food intolerances. So, but they're all happening because there's some sort of trauma or inflammation being built up in the body from somewhere, from a root. So I found that, going through my path and my journey as a healer and a holistic health practitioner, that it's the more I was digging, the more I was finding, okay, so I really need to get to the root cause. Really pass through the layers, and then in the last 15 years, I mean, even though my profession is I'm an IT director. I worked for like blue chip at FTSE.
Very different.
Yes,
IT director. Wow. Who would it tell?
Yeah, and the last 15 years, I've been very much on my path of searching. So I was working with masters in India. I was working with doctors and other junior doctors, senior doctors in Kerala, doing Ayurveda, going deeper into Ayurveda. And then I actually did the panchakarma on myself as well, because for me, I need to really feel a treatment to that,
Yeah, of
then I can understand where it's going, how deep it's going, so then I can best advise. Every single thing I will
course.
first try myself,
Yeah.
to really experience it out, because I myself went through a few health challenges from a very
Health.
young age.
Okay.
Yeah, so I had a scare of cancer at the age of 14.
Really, I didn't know that. Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was
14.
I was growing like corns in my legs, and they were like, even though on the surface they were small, but when they were doing operations, they were big roots coming from the back. So you see that much of it would be inside the skin, and maybe this much will be just on outside on the surface
In your legs.
on my legs. Yeah, and that was at
Wow.
14. And they said if it persists, if you have any more, then then your body's got, it's
Wow.
cancerous. But then that stopped. Sort of changed my diet. And then I had thyroid issues all my life. I had a very swollen neck, um, and I've always had the weight issues of like weight up and down, up and down.
Okay.
And then at the age of 40, that's when I sort of almost went through a low period where my body just was. I had no control over it. It was just blowing. As the inflammation was just going huge, and then that's when I turned into nutrition, even though I had studied Ayurveda, but Ayurveda still wasn't giving me the full, because there's only so much Ayurveda you can really use in the West.
Yeah. You're lacking the ingredients,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah, you're lacking a lot of stuff. So I was like, then I went seeking more, and I was like, so what am I missing? Why can I not heal this body? What is it still missing? And then when I started studying nutrition at Regent's University, that's when my life changed in a very big
Okay.
way. That's when I found out the deficiencies. I did the food intolerances test, I did the DNA tests, I did many tests, and then
Okay.
going through each test, I was then changing my diet, my health, my lifestyle, and then really alkalining the body, really getting out all the acidics from the body. And in the last few years, I've seen major changes in my body. My neck is less swollen, my body's changing. I had like nails that were dropping off because they were very dark. They've gone back to the normal color. So the whole body is starting to regenerate and rejuvenate. But this is not only just the change through the nutrition, but it's also like doing the yoga, doing the meditation, having a very like it's not in a still mind, but more living in the moment. We have so much out there that says live in the now, live in the now. And I feel like the more we live in the now, the less stressed we are,
Yeah.
because yesterday is gone, that's gone. But what have we learned from yesterday that we can bring in today, and we can better every time, you know?
Hmm.
And then
Hmm.
also it's me making a relationship with my body, because I wasn't comfortable being in my body. So the more I'm getting comfortable with my body since my 30s, looking in the mirror, looking into my eyes and saying, I love you, beautiful. That's also changing my cells in my body
Yeah.
at speed, because I had lumps on my under my knees, and the inflammation I had private healthcare, so I'd go to them and say what's going on. And since I've been changing my ways in the last couple of years, even those lumps are just disappearing. So
That's amazing.
I'm because I'm observing my body to seeing where the changes are happening, and it's amazing. The cells are just changing at speed with the whole changing of the diet and the lifestyle. And I'm glad that I have the education of the Ayurveda, so I can check my pulse and see what imbalances there are. Is it an imbalance of space in my body or air? Is it a space of too much fire or less fire? Is there an imbalance of too much
Yeah.
water, because lymphatic, because I had a sluggish lymphatic system? Is it too much earth or too much less earth? So I can now check my pulse on a daily basis, look at my tongue and see what's going on in my tongue.
Monitoring
Yeah,
yourself. Yeah.
every day monitoring myself, looking for anything on my body, checking if there's no lumps, or if there is, understand what it is. Really talking to the body more and more
Yeah.
each day, and it's amazing. And yes, and then while I've been in Spain, it's now led me to the Japanese acupuncture, and that is giving me the more fuller picture, because now I love working with energy. My whole life is just working with chi, the prana energy, and working with the masculine, the feminine, the yin, the yang, or in Ayurveda we call it Ida, Pingala.
Yeah.
And now that I'm doing with a master here in Spain, with learning the Japanese acupuncture is now amplifying my holistic
Wow,
health offering.
something new.
Yeah,
You
something
never
new.
stop.
Yeah.
Never stop
So I'm
learning.
able to like now go into like parts of the body in the marma air points, which we call meridians, but in Ayurveda we call marma.
Yes.
Just going to those areas and seeing where's the energy being blocked, and you can really feel it under your finger, because if it's like this, you'll feel like it's like Ayurveda when we check the pulse, so we can see that the energy is very low, or if it's like that and a heat, then we can say, okay, the energy is to excess. So
Okay.
it's beautiful to learn the different studies, like the
Perceptions.
Japanese, the nutrition, and the Ayurveda, and bringing them all together. It's like, I find it phenomenal. I mean, I'm finding
Yeah.
it so phenomenal. It's amazing.
And I say that they have so much in common. I mean, there are certain methodologies that vary, and obviously terminologies, but at the end, it's the same rules, isn't it? It's the same
Yeah,
principle
yeah,
of
and it's
going
all,
with nature and the laws of nature. And
yeah, because all is every single therapy, be it nutrition, be it Ayurveda, be it Japanese, um, all of them teaching you about the mind, body, and soul. So
yes,
it's not just healing the body. It's not just healing the body. It's healing the complete well-being of yourself, because we want to
yeah,
get to the root cause. Yes, we have allopathy medicine, and it works it works very well. It's there for a reason as well. But
yeah,
it's a short term. It's the short term. We use it until we can get the body back to its in the short term, but with that in parallel, we should be focusing on working with the holistic,
that's right.
changing our diet, changing our lifestyle, not being dependent on medicine.
Yeah,
If you're taking, for example, someone could be taking diabetes tablets for like 30 years, so that's not a cure, because now that organ has become lazy,
yeah.
because now it's dependent on that artificial medicine.
It's like a crutch. It's a
Yeah,
temporary
yeah,
aid.
yeah. Our bodies are amazing, 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 amazing vehicles, and they know how to heal themselves. We just have to go inside and listen.
Allow them, isn't it?
Yeah.
Nearly, I feel that sometimes we have to get ourselves out of the way
Yes,
because the wisdom is there, and it's
yes,
it's so powerful, but
yes,
we just interfere without knowing. Sometimes the fixes that we find or try to find are actually doing the opposite. And
mhm,
it's a fascinating everything you're saying there, and I really admire you. I actually don't know if I told you this already, kind of say to you that I want to continue on this path as well of healing, and I find that there's no other way. Healing has to be holistic. It has to be um, addressing the whole aspects of a human being, and it's beautiful. It's very deep. It's fascinating. It's a whole, life. It takes the whole life, as you can prove it. You've been doing this for long, and you're still learning and willing to be open to the different ways or knowledge. Then there's the medicine, and by the way, I would might find this moment to say where I am right now in my path of healing from cancer. Thanks for sharing your experience.
thank you.
I really really admire you. So you're one of my idols, my
Oh, thank you.
inspirations. So when last time I had the last entry, it was in 19th of March. I was hoping to have the last chemo. So the last chemo was last Thursday. And basically, I have chemo brain, I have to say. Maybe it's like I'm programming myself, but it's true, because a lot of friends tell me, people that I met during the treatments, they say it's like the baby brain. You also have chemo brain.
Yes.
And about today, about day 6, 7, you feel just kind of foggy and like you don't function as well as you wish. But so bear with me. That's one of the reasons. But what I was trying to say there is I was told that I was going to have 6 chemos only, and pretty much then the following step will be a surgery, most likely a full mastectomy of the left breast. But then last Thursday, I'm there saying, I'm happy, it's my last one, whatever. And then the nurse said, when I'm about to leave, she's like, no, it's not your last. And you're going to continue with another treatment. It's called Herceptin, which is targeting the type of cancer I had. I keep saying I had because it's gone.
Good.
And it's kind of to avoid recurrence. So, and she said that it has to be that we should keep going for every 3 weeks for a full year. And when she said that, I honestly felt like an anticlimax, because it was nearly celebration. It's the last one. And then she goes and says this, and I'm like, a year. And the way I'm still aiming to go back to Spain, maybe, as soon as I'm healthier. And that to me felt like a setback, like have to wait for that long. So then I was talking to one of the doctors in the floor, an oncologist, and she said, look, we won't really know till we have the pathologist test, from the surgery. We'll have a multidisciplinary meeting, and together oncologists, surgeons, and blah, 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 they will all agree on what is the best treatment for you, after the surgery. But in the meantime, in theory, I still have another chemo halfway. So it's like, it's an injection. It's not going to be the intravenous, the kind of drop or how do you call? Like it won't go into my veins. It will go as a form of injection. And it will be shorter, but still means for me having to go to the city. I live in the countryside right now in here in Ireland, and I have to go to Dublin for that injection. There's no other place where they administer this injection, but this hospital. So it was a bit of a thing, Also, I'm hanging in relation to the surgery. I didn't tell you that. I'm checking the possibility, and it's very important what you told me the first time we talked about my cancer, the possibility of not having reconstruction with an implant. Because there's something that I haven't mentioned in the previous entries here. Initially, I had an asymmetry and a big kind of issue sort of from birth that is called Poland syndrome. So because of that, I didn't develop breast tissue as a normal woman, or what normally happens. So I had a lot of issues with that, where you were talking before about the self-acceptance and all of that, what the impact that also has in your overall being, your self-esteem and your perception of yourself, etc. So that was a big issue for me, and then decided at the age of 33 to put some implants, breast implants, because I had to have a surgery related to cyst and ovarian cyst. So in the same surgery, my doctor advised to do that, which now I see, looking back, I'm like, oh, that was terrifying, it's crazy, because it's a very major surgery, double surgery. So anyway, I've been already having these implants for about, the first one was 2005. So we're talking about nearly, how many years? I'm very bad with dates. Well, few years. And then 15, 16. And then I had to replace them. I had some intolerance. So when I talk to you about that, you say, clearly your body is telling you this material is not very good for you. You're having some sort of rejection. So now, obviously, in the midst of reconstruction, which again, it would probably involve having breast implants, I'm torn, I'm thinking on one side, I'm thinking I have to prioritize health. I don't want to put my body again in such a stress, the immune system and everything. So I probably go nothing, and put nothing in my body. But that, from the point of view of psychologically as well, as a woman, it imposes the issue of self-acceptance, your new body, with this hugging kind of or shy situation of a tissue that you probably won't really recognize, as yours. And the role of a breast, obviously, the implications in your sexual life, your interaction with the other, etc. It's very complex. And, I've been thinking so much, and I've been torn between, I won't put anything, then, no, I'm not ready, I'm too young, I can't do this. Then it happened that the surgeons say that there is another procedure, and it's called what's the name now? Diep flap, which is they take part of your abdominal fat, the lower part of the below the navel, and together with irrigation, because it needs obviously part of an artery. It has to be alive, and they replace it. And it sounds like Frankenstein, you nearly, I don't know if I like that. It's a lengthy surgery. And also, I suppose it has its risks, because the body might not also accept, or I don't know, it's something foreign, it's not the same type of tissue. So anyway, she said that might be an option for you if you don't want to use any, implants. And the fact that they offer it in Ireland is not very common, and there's only one doctor in this hospital who performs this surgery. So I'm in hanging. I'm waiting to see this surgeon. Is a plastic surgeon specialized in microvascular surgery and this type of procedure. But I'm considering it. It could be an option, a way out to having again implants, or I might not be candidate. So again, I have to decide. So that's where I'm standing. It's a kind of like a critical period for me, because we say that maybe by May I will have the surgery, and obviously, from the oncologist side, I'm hoping and I'm praying that the cancer is gone, but they still want to remove the tissue in case of some cell, or a kind of like a precautious measure, I suppose. And it's still hard, having to accept that, but that's what we were saying. Sometimes the conventional medicine can be very radical, and you wonder, when you have this approach of natural based or more. You wonder if it's always if you're taking the right decision. There's always a room for questioning and pondering things. But so that's my journey so far. But you were really important. What you told me, really, I mean, from the beginning, it made me think, on the importance of respecting the body, honoring the body, and the more natural way. And I didn't realize that, for instance, the dental work that I found out thanks to you, because Jess invited me to some session with in the nutrition course, and it was very interesting. That the teacher was amazing, and all the input of the students. And I pretty much ended up realizing that it's not for punishing yourself, but he kind of is like, what have I done? What have I done with this body? You sort of look back and then realize that dental work, a lot of the decisions that you're so unaware, and you take, and then later on in life, it might have a consequence. It's amazing. It's very interesting. So
and this is all part of your preparation as well, of you becoming that that holistic health practitioner. Because I believe that the best practitioners are those who've experienced through life themselves.
Yeah.
And they can best advise. They've been through the system, so they know. And then they've just now gone back to their own bodies and started talking to their bodies, making that relationship with their bodies. We're still a minority. There's, majority still would go under the knife of a doctor, or like the scripted doctors, because I mean, like you said earlier on about the choice that where we with the self-acceptance of the body and the breasts, and it's a big thing, especially for women. It's a very, very big thing.
Yeah.
And I know many women that once they have the breast removed from the cancer, they go for the silicons, and also know some women that use then the belly fat, or wherever the fat there is on the body, which I would advise on that route more so, because it's your body you're taking back into your body.
Yeah.
You're taking something artificial into your body. But then I always also advise that you let the body heal. You if they take the tissue out, but let the body heal. Now, you was diagnosed last year, but in that little time between now and March, April, you've come a really far way with your health. You've changed your way of eating. You've changed a lot of things. Now, they say the cancer's gone, but the cancer's gone because of your change of your lifestyle as well. It wasn't just because of the chemo, because we know what chemo is. Yes, chemo is not a medicine. Chemo is a poison that goes into your body, taking away the poison. Now, we know that chemo is not for everyone, because everyone's immune systems, everyone's system's different. But it's what we're putting in our body that can bring in more white cells that then flushes out the chemo. And that's what you've been doing. You've been flushing out the chemo.
Yeah.
taking the chemo to take out the bad cells, but also then flushing out the chemo. Where many people just leave that chemo inside and they're still eating the bad ways, they're not eating, they're not having the right nutrition, and then what happens? The body starts becoming weaker, and then that chemo just eats away the body.
Yeah.
So you've proved to yourself that you can heal your body, yeah. Um, and this is what I always say to people, that if you do have the breast removed, then give it some time to rest. Give it 6 months to a year, at least a year. We always say, as we get older, the wounds take a lot longer to heal inside. Let it heal and bring your body back to its regeneration, rejuvenation, and then feel that, now what do I want to do with the breasts? You know, but if I mean, if you're taking it from the belly, that's fine. But if you want to have the silicons, I'd say take a pause after the
Yeah.
remove the breast, and then think about it 12
Okay.
months later. Yeah.
Okay. That's a good
It's
advice.
your
Yeah.
body. It's your body.
You said.
You're in charge. But just think of that. I want to heal the body. Let's not make the same mistakes we already made before.
Yeah.
What's led us here. So okay, let me now give myself a break and let the healing process still continue in. Allow the chemo to continue being flushed out, and then let me work with the body and ask the body, right, what do you want now after 12 months? Shall we go down that route?
Even if it means having 2 surgeries, because that obviously means if you don't have the reconstruction straight away,
Yeah,
you have to.
I know.
You think it's better?
A good friend of mine. She had it. She had the second. She had the second surgery, so she had two. Yeah. Because the first one,
Reconstruction.
reconstruction.
Yeah.
But that's something that that's a personal choice. But we
Yeah.
can we can only recommend. But I would say just pause and just think. So let's not bring the old patterns in, because again, when you was talking, you was bringing the old patterns in about there's a self-assessed acceptance, and I've got these choices. I'm torn between two, but that's the old system that's still in the mind that's saying that. You've just now gone through a journey these last 6 months, 7 months.
Yeah.
So let's say, okay, no, I'm not going to let the mind take control. I'm going to let the body work with me and say, what body, what do you need? Do you need a break? And then let me work on you. But in that break, I want to just spend my time with you, just healing you as much as I can, talking to it. Put alkaline in the body. Alkalining is key for the body. The more you alkaline your body, the less disease it is. We say, like in Ayurveda, we say 70% of diseases happen because of vata imbalance.
Yeah.
The same thing in nutrition is 70% of diseases happen because of
Acidity.
acidity, and that acidity compromises your immune system.
Okay.
So yeah.
Good that you mentioned now, because I wanted to ask you, from your point of view, in your experience, what is cancer? Why do people get this?
So
It's a very complex.
Yeah,
It's a million.
it's a million question. Yes.
You win the Nobel Prize, Jess, if you answer it. No, but I mean, from your.
Cancer for me is emotions.
Emotion.
Yeah, cancer for me is feelings. Now, nothing gets into our body without food and thought, right? So if in nutrition, in Ayurveda, in Chinese medicine, we all talk about chi being the prana. So how healthy is the food that you're eating? How much pranic energy does it have? How alive is that food that's going to go into your body to serve? We're in a system right now where we're just eating processed food, we're eating refined food. Most of our food, actually 95% of our food is chemical. It's just got chemical.
Some explosion. Yeah.
We go to a superstore, we may just find 5%, even less than 5% real food. Everything has chemical in it. The water we drink has chemical in it. So the body's just getting pumped with chemical. There's only so much white cells that we have in our body. Some people are born with less white cells, and some people are born with the right balance of white cells. But the way we are eating, the way we are functioning right now, the white cells are becoming less, and so the immune system is becoming compromised. With like because the amount of chemical we put in the milk that we're drinking, the chemical that we put in the meat that we're eating, the chemical that we put in the fruits and vegetables that we're eating.
Yeah.
And then, as you know about dental work, when we're having the mercury put into our mouth, our body's rejecting it, then we're compromising the immune system. When we're having antibiotics, we're compromising immune system and we're killing off white cells. So much stuff we put into our body that compromises.
Bombarding.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bombarding. So your body now is weak. And then you've got all these emotions. Now, when people are very stressed, emotionally going through like life challenges, um, these are getting stored into your muscles. Every thought is getting stored into a muscle, into a cell. And then what happens is we start to accumulate like a toxic spot in our body where all the stress just keeps going there, and so less pranic energy is going there. And then
Lacking oxygen, kind of.
lacking oxygen,
Yeah.
yep, lacking, so it's just becoming a dark spot. Yeah. And some people say, I'm always getting pain here when I'm stressed. I always get this pain on the side, or I get this headache, or I get this pain here on my shoulder, my back, or near my belly. And then because there's less and less oxygen, more and more darkness, more toxins are going there. And then, the more toxins are being built up, more toxins are being beat up. This is just like lead, this becoming like dead toxin, dead cells. Then they're starting to become hard because they're not even getting flushed out. Then what happens? It starts to become like a little tumor inside.
Growing a tumor.
Yes, growing tumor. Cancer
growth.
starts from tumor, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And cancer doesn't surface on the body for at least 10 years.
Yeah,
So
that was interesting. You say that in the course that it develops very slowly. It's like a long process.
It develops very, very slowly in your body, and that's why we should always check in on our body. We should press on some parts of our body. It's not picking up for any lump, or why am I always getting pain here? Why am I getting so much inflammation here? We question these things to the body, and that's where we should start looking at our diet, health, and lifestyle, looking at our stress, looking at our mental health. And seeing if we can heal that. But because we live in such a fast-paced life, we want things so quick, we'll just pop a paracetamol, or we'll just put some cream on top, and that is it, job done. But the tumor's still there, because in Ayurveda we say we shouldn't put anything on our skin that we can't put in our mouth. So if you're putting these petroleum sort of like highly toxic creams on your body to take away the pain, that's getting absorbed into the body.
Yeah.
So what else? So what that's holding toxin as well. Eventually, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? That is, inflammation is going down for short term, but long term it's still there. When morning you wake up, you're going to apply the cream again.
Mm-hmm.
So and this is what one of the things where I say to people, we need millions of holistic health practitioners that can bring people back to the basics. It's like
full time, isn't it? It's like you have to keep eyes everywhere, all around the head.
So when we're growing up, what do our parents do? They have the baby, they're looking at, okay, let me just feel the body. Is there any lump? What's that lump? What should I do? Like the massaging the baby. Look how the mother is looking at a baby when the baby's growing. She's checking every part every single day. So why do we forget as we get older?
Why do we stop? Yeah.
Why do we stop?
Yeah, when the mother stops with them, we have to do it ourselves.
Yeah, and that should be, every morning, like you see the Chinese waking up, they will do a tapping all the way from head to toe, before they even land their feet on the ground.
Yeah,
they're really energizing the chi in the body.
I love that as well from Ayurveda, the Abhyanga, the habit of oleation, or how do you call it, self-massaging and applying oil. It's an exercise of I think it's tuning with your body, as you say. It's checking, and it's honoring it. It's an act of big love to yourself.
I mean, I say to people, you need maximum 15-20 minutes in the morning just to do a quick scan of your body, and that is the tap, check your tongue, check your pulse, check your eyes, check how your bowel movement's been in the morning, check your urine in the morning, you check your teeth, you brush your teeth, do some very deep inhalations into the core of your belly, and exhalations out of the mouth, and that's it. And then you can do some yoga exercises, because yoga is not an exercise. Yoga is there to bring
connection.
It's a meditation to bring connection to the body, to bring chi into the body, the prana energy into the body, to every part when you're doing the posture. So you're again during a yoga say movement, you're doing the inhalation and then the exhalation. So you're taking in all the good pranic energy and releasing all the carbon dioxide. And when we're doing certain positions, we're allowing that pranic energy to go into those areas and then release the carbon dioxide out of those areas. So
Mhm.
yoga is not
It's
an
flushing.
exercise. Yeah.
It's flushing out as well. Yeah.
Flushing out. Yeah. And that's what we're doing in the mornings. You know, in India, they will even take the, you know, the thread through the throat up the nose and out the nose, doing the cleanse. They'll do nadi shodhana, cleaning the sinus, because mucus is the worst thing that you can have in the body. Again, mucus is again showing us that there's illness in the body. Mucus also shows us there's a lot of emotion in the body. There's a lot of toxic in the body. So mucus is the worst thing that you can have in your body. So if there's mucus, you're continuously having mucus hair, you have a mucus like at the back of your throat, you're always like doing this. You know, that's something that you know that your body's telling you to stop this lifestyle you're in, clean me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a sign. Yeah. There's so many signs really. So for you, what would be like the most instrumental of all the practices? I mean, it's difficult to pick, but or the one that it sticks with you, that you really is it Ayurveda really, or yeah.
Yes.
I love it. I'm biased,
Because
but
yeah, I mean,
when
yeah,
you
it's a full.
say because
Sorry.
you're originally from India, aren't you? Were you from India? No.
I was born in the UK. My mum's from the Himalayas, and my dad's from like Africa. But
Ah,
yeah, but my ancestors are from India. But my granddad was a healer, so he was very much Ayurveda, and my
yeah,
mum's Ayurveda as well.
yeah.
So if she's very much in at home, she's always been the Ayurveda, and she's always said that you know your medicine's in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
So your kitchen, you know,
The
we would say,
food
oh, yeah, she would always bring out all these different, you know, herbs and
ailment,
spices to
yeah.
heal us. Yeah, so it always started in the kitchen, healing first.
So nice.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a very rich. What you were saying before, the pain, oh, sorry, the shame. It's that we don't find always all the ingredients in that
yeah,
kind of makes us to look at other ways, like nutrition, more westernized, other things that we can find to to compensate. But it's all very much interlinked. And I suppose what I like about Ayurveda is that it comprises everything as well, as you say. It's the whole consciousness of the of life. It's an amazing knowledge. Yeah,
yeah.
it's
I mean,
very
Ayurveda is a complete well-being. I mean, it doesn't even say to you you cannot eat meat. You know, sometimes in some bodies we may need a certain amount of red meat, but again, it's a short-term thing. But we say it's got to be wild. It's not something that's been homegrown or it's been been pumped with hormones. It's got to
yes,
be real pranic meat, fish. It's got to be real wild fish, not like fish that's been living on grains.
yeah,
So so again, it's always being conscious that if I'm putting this in my mouth, where's it come from?
yeah.
You know? And then now, I mean, even when some people like, for example, we're saying that why is it that we're not getting the full vitamins from the body from the food anymore?
Yeah,
Because we're not, because of the chemical. But then we say we should also look at the soil, because the
yeah,
source is the soil. So
yeah,
because the soil is no longer the good soil we're growing our stuff on, it's full of chemical as well.
yeah.
You
That's
know,
right.
so
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of work, isn't it? As well, we
it
have to
is,
look into every single
yeah.
thing.
But since I've been in Spain, there's one thing I've now, because I'm obviously now, my life is always practicing what I've learned. So being in Spain and eating the food that's grown here, because in Ayurveda, one of the teachings is we only consume food that we grow in our country,
Ah,
because our
local.
body, yeah, because our body is climatized to that. So
Yeah.
if we're eating mangoes in December, that doesn't make sense, because mangoes
Mm,
don't grow in December.
yeah.
If we're eating watermelons in January, it doesn't make sense, because watermelons don't grow in January. So we need to be more mindful about what foods are growing that in our country.
Local.
Our bodies work with seasons. They work with the sun and the moon.
Yeah.
But if we're putting food into our bodies that is not of the climate, the body doesn't know how to break that down. So
It
being
causes
in,
ama then.
yeah,
It
it
causes
causes armor.
toxins.
Yeah, and being in Spain, that's one of the things I've learned, because I'm only buying my food from an organic farm here, and
Nice.
I'm only eating that food, and my whole body has changed. I mean,
Changed.
I've lost weight. I feel more energized. I feel alive. In whereas
So
in the UK,
jealous.
whereas in the UK, even though I was buying food from Whole Foods,
Yeah.
my body was still putting on weight. It was still very low in energy. It just didn't. it wasn't the same. But I'm
Yeah.
seeing a big difference in the food. Very
That's
big
one of
difference
the
in the food.
reasons I want to leave Ireland, because here we are tiny, as you know, everything comes from Spain,
Yes,
Greece,
yes.
whatever.
Yeah.
So it's like, what is the local production? I would be eating potatoes every day.
Yeah.
That's all. so,
No.
so
Yeah.
it's a tricky one. But so I don't know. I love to keep talking, but we are nearly close to the hour.
Mm.
If you would like to sort of summarize, what would be your main message or advice to someone who's really focused now on and taking care of their health, overall health, and what would be the start, or the kind of like the way to go?
I mean, I would say to form a relationship firstly with your body. Secondly, check how acidic your body is. Actually, that should be the first. Check how acidic your body is.
You
And
you
then,
told me about these stripes or
yeah,
something to
yeah.
check
So you
the.
so you can get these pH strips from even from Amazon. It's like 100 strips for about maybe 10 pounds. And every week you can just look at just put in your mouth, and then you can look at the strip, and our pH should be around 7.5. And then from that will give you a good indication of where how alkaline or how acidic your body is. But
Okay.
you will see that the more alkaline your body is, the less inflammation, the less problems you have in your body, because then your body's starting to breathe, and then your T cells are becoming programmed into good cells, because our T cells are here in our thymus. They get collected here. So we want to build good T cells, and then they go out to build our white cells. So we have more white cells to fight any sort of infections in the body, any sort of bacteria in the body. If we have a very good immune system, a very good white cells in our body, we won't get so much disease in our body. So my first most thing I think what I've learned is keep your body as alkaline as you
Fine.
can, and
And
then
does it all mean, sorry for interruption, but the way I was commenting into the wheatgrass thing, because I'm new, and I'm still
yeah,
waiting for a delivery, but I want to start growing my own. And they send you a kit, to grow your own wheatgrass. And I got the juicer, and I'm very
yeah,
excited. So things like that, juicing
magic food,
and
yes,
getting like the
yeah,
organic raw
yeah,
materials,
yeah.
and that will alkalize as well.
Yeah, a lot of greens. So wheatgrass, take a wheatgrass shot in the morning. Have celery, which is good for your bones. Take all the greens as much as you can. Maybe not kale if you're in the cancer treatments, because kale has a high metal.
Kale.
Yeah.
Okay.
So just
Unless you're sure that it's organic.
yeah. But even then,
Okay.
I would say take kale out, because it's not. It's only new people started taking it, but it has heavy metals in it as well.
Oh, wow. That's good to
Yeah.
know. Okay.
So I would say to people, just focus on, the spinach, the greens, the broccoli, the celery. Just keep as much green as you can. Asparagus is good. Um, Zucchini, green salads.
Sugar snaps, things like that.
There's so
Yeah.
much green. Yeah. Stay away from sugar, because sugar is what cancer thrives on. So just always looking at what sugar you're taking. And if you're having any fruits, make sure they're organic fruits, because they're not being pumped with sugar. So just being a bit more mindful about the food that you're pumping into your body while you're going through the treatment, and while you're healing the body as well. So the more green you are, the more cleaner and the faster your body will heal. And then just also speaking to a nutritionist, or there's plenty of places these days that you can do a DNA test, or a blood test, just to check, and a food intolerance test, just to check that what your body's rejecting.
All
Because
right.
food intolerance tests, if like eggs can cause inflammation, certain wheats can cause inflammation, dairy definitely can cause inflammation.
Depending on each person. Yeah.
Depending
Yeah.
on each person. So
Okay.
food intolerance tests are very cheap to do, but I would always recommend someone to do a food intolerance test, and then you take those foods away for 3 months, and
Three
then
months.
you start to slowly start introducing them, because our bodies need should be able to absorb and eat everything, like in Ayurveda
Yeah.
they say, because that's what because we are made of earth. Anything that's made from earth, our body can absorb and
Mm-hmm.
digest.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just giving the immune system a break, because anything that's food intolerance blocks the body, And if when there's a block, then certain nutrition is not being carried to the
Of course,
tissues. Yeah,
there's no circulation of
yeah,
the system.
yeah, and then the
Oh, very good.
inflammation. Yeah,
That's great. Those are really, really good tips, and I think easy enough to carry out. I really, really appreciate your time, Jess. I know you're super busy. You do so much. This lady is just into what's the name of the children
Save
group?
the Children.
Save the Children.
Yeah.
She's doing so many retreats here and there, and things and classes and therapies. Really amazing that you found the time finally.
And it's good to see how much good progress you're making as well, Yolanda. So
oh, really? Yeah, I'm pleased. I mean, I have my days, and like the other day was a bit of an anticlimax. It's like, oh my God, this is still gonna go for so long, but hopefully no. Hopefully it's less, and it's part of the process. It's what learning.
And there's just one last advice I love to give is let's remove these words as hopeful or ifs and say it will. I will heal. I am going to heal. I have healed. The more we change the speech, the more the cells vibrate, because whatever we're saying and thinking is fed into our cells.
Sure.
So let's not be hopeful. Let's say, I'm not going to be having a 1 year worth of treatment because my body's healing. My body's healing fast.
Yeah.
And you say that to your body. Thank you for healing. Thank you for healing, and guide me to how I can help you.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's start speaking to this body.
Yeah, you're right. Thank you so much, Jess, again, and we keep in touch. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.